Hey, Podcast America, welcome to episode 51 of the Enlightened Neanderthals. Mike's smiling. I'm smiling. Jordan's smiling.
I'm smiling.
And before we get into it, let's talk Training Northwest, my own company. The Rifleman Camp is about 2/3 full, I want to say. So there's still a couple slots to get if you guys want to grab those at Training Northwest LLC. It's a 3-day. It's a little bit of a, I don't want to say immersion because 3 days is not enough time to immerse. It's a 3-day dip your toe in the waters of what it takes to be a modern day Minuteman, which we'll be talking about here as soon as we can nail our friend Brent down. Yeah. Yep. And we're also, I think that the business model as we move into 2025, which, yes, I'm already making 2025 plans, is going to be a lot more private group classes because I'm finding that that is a much more successful model thus far. So I've had everything from church groups to corporate, like team building days rather than going to a Mariners game or whatever, and families, birthday parties, fucking bachelor parties. So if that's something you guys have been thinking about, if anybody out there listening to this hears this, email me at trainingnorthwest@protonmail.com because that's probably where I'm going to be headed next year is very few publicly listed classes and more just private groups. Electric North Jiu-Jitsu, pantheon of podcast. We have our best friend Tyler Stanaway and the Compassionate Viking who will be joining us on today's podcast.
Yes, sir.
Some would say he's standing with us now.
Hey, everybody. Hey. And Tyler, what is the email address you want people to use to get a hold of you?
It is compassionatevikingpodcast@gmail.com.
Is there anything else you want to plug? Ceremonies, consultations?
If anybody wants to work with me, I am a healer. I help people find clarity. I help people live a better life. And so if that's something that resonates with you or you want to listen to my podcast, that's Compassionate Viking Podcast, and send me a message through email. I would love to talk to you. I'm here to help. Thank you, guys.
All right. Coffee Talk, Mike.
Christy Campbell.
White Belt Mafia, Jordan.
Danny.
Endless Endeavor, Mike.
Grand Poobah, Greg Anderson. This is fun. This is like
Patriotic Islander, Jordan, go.
Will. No tell.
What episode are you on his?
I don't know, dude. No, let's not.
That invite is coming.
Are we talking about Danny?
He's so angry about it. He's not angry, but I see it. I like poking.
No,
that
it was funny.
Hang on, Mike. Do you think you and I could get a second appearance before Jordan gets one?
Oh man.
Well, here's the thing.
Tomorrow.
Fellas. Here's the thing. When he started talking about this whole podcast thing, he goes, "Jordan, we're gonna have you on. You're gonna be on," and like months ago, and I was like, "Great." And then I show up, and he's like, "I got something going on." And I was like, "You motherfucker!" And here we are.
You know
and then
what
he
the
goes,
problem?
"You know what, Jordan? Because you talk dumb."
I called you out.
Yeah,
It's because you didn't like Beetle Nut.
I guess not. Yeah, fuck Beetle Nut, dude.
You don't know about our people, dude, and the plight we've had to endure.
Paul Mall's Beetle Nut, fucking
Sweaty eyeballs.
I had a great time. That was my favorite podcast.
Anyway, yeah, I'm sure at some point I'll make an appearance on the
Get
old
your invite
Patriotic
any day, buddy.
Islander.
And from there, it's straight to Rogan. All right, Mike.
You get it.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean on Mike. What? Holy fuck! What did we not talk about on this one? We went God talk.
We did go God talk. I would just like to put it back to you. Like, this is what all of this is about. Who are you? Why are you here? What are you doing here? What do you know about yourself? Have you figured out you?
You're asking
Question
me?
mark.
Who?
Me?
Yeah. All right, you guys enjoy the episode. Okay, so right before we started recording, not right before, but when you guys showed up and you were talking about your tobacco seeds and marijuana seeds, it made me start to chuckle because abundance, I don't think is that hard to achieve.
No.
I think we're conditioned to believe that if you try to grow or just sort of make your own way, that you're going to struggle to make it. And I don't think that's true.
I think there's a lot of things when like you put your mind to it, it's like, oh, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. But
But
Tyler was saying, like, how many seeds did you say you got out of your tobacco plants?
I mean, literally probably 400 trillion.
Yeah, I remember when you were like, I have so many goddamn.
Yeah.
Because what happens is one seed is like take a ballpoint pen
It's exponential growth.
and make a dot, and then cut that into like 16ths. That's how big a tobacco seed is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude, it's
Like a little flea.
tiny. And then on my plants, it gets the flower, and then it makes a little bulb. And inside each bulb, which there's, I don't know, 100 bulbs on the plant maybe.
Okay.
But in each little bulb, there's probably 500 seeds. And so I put them in like a Ziploc bag, and I have the big ass Ziploc
gallon
bag.
Yeah,
ones.
the big freezer bags.
And it's probably filled the bottom this much.
It's like sand.
Dude, but the thing is like the way that I garden is yes, exactly. I'll go out there and just have a handful and
pitching
just
stuff.
fucking throw it, man.
See what sticks.
Lots
And
of
it
shit
does. And it does. That's the other thing is there's probably a lot of mixing. Instead of like monoculture, you've got plants.
The
kind
strong
of,
survive.
Exactly. The strong
it's
survive,
supposed to be
and
there,
if they're
it'll
able
be
to
there.
commingle, then they also thrive.
Yeah, like I noticed my strawberries and my asparagus work very well together
Okay.
because the strawberry works.
In pie too. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
strawberry and asparagus.
Yes. Have you ever? Or no, strawberry.
You're thinking of rhubarb.
Asparagus.
Never mind.
Dude, you know how bad your pee's gonna smell after asparagus pie night?
Yeah, but there's plants that are like friends. When you
Yes.
plant them together, it creates like a symbiosis, and they help each other out.
And I bet it's more common than we think.
Well, there's also ones that fuck it up. Like if you plant
really?
a black walnut tree, you're not going to grow anything
No kidding.
around that. No, because
Lazy fucking tree.
there's what's it called? Like juggalo or something like that. But if you take the husks of black walnuts, it'll just stain everything. And that
Does it turn the soil acidic or something?
yeah, well, it's
The tannins
it's
in
a
it.
and it's they use it for like
dye.
anti-parasitic, like a parasite cleanse.
Okay.
So I know that it kills, it must be anti-parasitic, antimicrobial, anti-fungal probably. And so you're not going to get really any mycelium, any bugs, it just kills
Anything.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you get a lot
It's
of walnuts.
nature's antibiotic.
Uh-huh.
Like it kills the good and the bad.
That's another good point then. So if a plant is killing everything around it in the garden, I wonder if that then makes it a good antibiotic inside your body.
Yeah, just don't take too much.
Yeah.
Because I have a parasite cleanse tincture, and it's black walnut husks, wormwood, and clove. And that's it.
Is, clove's pretty cool because you can like just chew on it
Mm-hmm.
and it'll numb your mouth,
Yeah.
right? So like I had a friend who
So it's a local anesthetic.
I don't know about your skin, but in your mouth certainly, and maybe you just got to get it wet to make it work. But like one of my friends was a
Native American Abreva.
Mido
Or Oragel or whatever.
Well, her mom was a dentist, and I was having a horrible situation going on. I had to get a root canal, and I was dying. And she was like, "Go get cloves," and I was like, "Fucking cloves!" I was in college. I was like,
It's not
"You mean
Christmas.
yeah? What kind of pill is that?" And then she was like, "No, here." And I took these cloves, and she said, "Just put them where it hurts." And sure as shit, it numbed everything up. I was like, "Oh, cloves."
Well, everything. I mean, cocaine's.
Yeah, but we didn't have any of that.
But that's
anymore
what they
of
used to
that.
use for numbing. Like what is it? The canes, like lidocaine, all that stuff. It's all derivatives off of cocaine. And cocaine was originally used, I think, as a numbing agent before it was a good party drug. A good time, one might say.
I forget what that changing back to the black walnut thing. I was watching something and they either used it for like tanning a hide or dyeing like some sort of a canvas or something.
Yeah, leather of some sort.
It might have been like,
There's a lot of shit.
Yeah, it's
Because
pretty
now that
impressive.
you're thinking of it, I
They'd like
I have
boil
this
them
vision
down.
of a 5-gallon bucket
Yeah,
of
yeah,
water,
yeah,
and
yeah.
like all the husks were in
Yes.
it, and they were doing something with the water. So I know what you're talking about. And you talk about clove chewing it. When I was in Costa
I guess sucking on it.
right,
Yeah.
but just whatever, chewing it, sucking it. When I was in Costa Rica, in the sweat lodge, they kept burning this, I don't know what the fuck it was, a root. And I really enjoyed the smell of it. And so I found out what it was, and it's called OSHA root, and it's bear medicine, okay? When the bears hibernate, the first thing that they come out of hibernation and go get is the roots of an OSHA plant. And the root gives them like vitality, power. It's
like a cup of coffee for the bear coming out of
Yeah,
hibernation.
gets the stuff flowing in them.
So I purchased some organic root, and I've been chewing on it. There's something to that too.
This is gonna sound fucking goofy right now, but does that make you want to go to the bathroom?
No.
Really?
No. What it does is like I won't even need to chew.
Huh.
Like
you don't feel the need to chew tobacco when you do that. Interesting.
And I'll chew it for fucking hours.
Really?
You ever fuck with kratom? I don't know how you pronounce it.
I used to, but I stopped.
Yeah?
And the reason is my foot, for those who don't know, I have 18 pins or screws in my ankle from a bad motocross accident. And I got really addicted to fucking pain pills through the hospital and the surgery and everything.
You mean what happened to everyone in the late 90s, early 2000s that was put into medicine or a hospital? What's your pain level?
Yeah.
Yeah. You could have a piece of dust in your eye. They're like, well, that's Oxycontin.
Yeah. Well, and then I found out that as long as I got them to give me an x-ray, they'd give me whatever the fuck I wanted.
Yeah, I had the same. I cracked a rib on my mountain bike, and I went to the walk-in clinic just to make sure that I had a friend in the Army who had broken a rib and punctured a lung and ended up having half of his lung cut out. And so I thought, I'll go to the walk-in, make sure everything's good, just so I have peace of mind. And so they x-rayed my chest, and then in comes the doc, and he says, hey, good news, bad news. The bad news is we didn't see anything on the x-ray. The good news is it's not broken, it's just cracked. I said, oh, okay, awesome. I'm good. And he goes, do you need anything for the pain? I said, no, I'm set. And I jumped up and walked out. And I didn't think about it till like half an hour later as I'm pulling in the driveway. I'm like, oh man, he had a negative x-ray that showed nothing. And he would have written me a prescription for painkillers just based on me saying it hurts really bad when I sneeze. And I think I broke a rib.
Well, there's incentive for doctors to.
Oh, I know. But that was all he needed was you're telling me that it hurts.
Yep.
See, but that's also a situation for a doctor to be like, pain is real. Maybe I don't need a narcotic, but I can tell this guy to take Tylenol and ibuprofen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they wouldn't go chew on this root,
Right.
No.
which you could probably get away with.
Right. But
Yeah.
So kratom, okay?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Wait,
And we're
I
back.
forgot I even said that.
Yeah. So long story short, I wanted to get away from narcotics,
Yeah.
but my foot, it was fucked. It's still fucked. It hurts right now. And when I was working in the union, standing on concrete, it was really bad. Yeah. And so I did, I don't want to eat handfuls of Tylenol or ibuprofen.
Yeah.
And so I did take kratom. So for 4 years, I would take kratom every day. But
Was it effective?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was. But this is gonna get into my woo shit. I think it doesn't.
Block something.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
It does. It somehow lowers my frequency. I don't feel it lowers it in a way of like alcohol or something like that. But it does something because I feel like me and Vanessa would fight all the time.
Oh, interesting.
Well, it's like an upper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
it is a stimulant?
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And there's different types. there's like
What type do you take? I take manga day.
yeah, I was taking Mangda.
Yeah.
And I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
But I also have a super addictive personality, and I will just
A little too much manga.
it was like
Well, I've done
it
it.
started to rule me.
Really?
Yeah, it started to be like if I didn't have kratom, then I couldn't have a good day.
Okay. So that's
I've
first stage of addiction.
heard there's
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard there's pretty.
Yeah, but
addictive.
I normally do like I'll do 2. It says to
You
take.
put it in your beetle nut.
Is that
Well, that's
is that my
actually-
butthole? My beetle nut.
Put your beetle nut in your.
Beetle nut. Yeah. I'll take. It says to take 6 pills a day. Normally, I'll do anywhere in. Normally, it's due to pain.
Yeah.
Like that with a cup of coffee, I'll do 2 to 4 pills, and it's like fan-fucking-tastic.
Yep.
You know, if I don't need it, or if I'm like, if things are just, if you have a pain, you take a Tylenol. So it's like, okay, maybe you have different natural
better than
medicines. Yeah.
It's better than that. It's
But I
you
felt like
think-
if you took, because I've done
I would take 10
Yeah.
in the morning.
I did
10
that-
at lunchtime and
shit.
10 at like 6.
well, I don't do
Every
that.
day.
But
Yeah,
if
every day.
I do like, I take all those pills, you open it up, you mix it in water. I did like 9 one time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I did it as a shot, and just get it in the system.
Did
See
your
how
eyes do this?
flutter? Maybe.
I had my eyes flutter one time and I was like,
But it felt like something.
yeah.
It wasn't like I'm drunk, but it's like, whoa, buddy, something is happening here. Like I can definitely feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the
But
thing
in
is
low
that
doses, I really like it.
it's way better than Tylenol or ibuprofen.
Yeah.
My thing is
But it
is this-
helps the body in a weird way. Like paired, I think there's something about caffeine and as a vasodilator, like it opens up and pushes blood. So if you take certain supplements with coffee, that's why I also like lifting weights with coffee, because I feel it kind of gives you that effect. But taking things like the kratom, I like that with a cup of coffee because it's like a double
feels
cup
good.
of coffee.
It's
Yeah.
because it feels good. But I have noticed that. So here's another thing. The kratom is still a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And I just want more Band-Aid and more Band-Aid and more Band-Aid. And so because I have bone on bone and rheumatoid
RA,
arthritis, essentially like I could just eat as much kratom as I
It doesn't help.
It helped a little bit, but it's just I built up a tolerance and then so for me, I went back into the plants.
Yeah.
And I started going into the books of like how to essentially heal. They tell you that you can't rebuild shit. You can't rebuild cartilage. They tell you can't rebuild stem cells or whatever this fuck it is. And obviously if your ACL's blown, then probably putting a fucking poultice on it isn't going to work.
Right.
It's a maze.
But in like turmeric, stinging nettles,
Yeah.
mushrooms like reishi, chaga, turkey tail, chicken of the woods, cordyceps. Those are all really good because those like there's the mushrooms are very special in the sense of no, I'm not talking about magic mushrooms.
No,
I'm
I was
talking
going to say
about
we should go mushroom hunting this April.
I know a place.
So do I.
Yeah.
And just go.
Let's go.
Like on a little walkabout.
yeah,
Find
whether
some
they're
mushrooms.
chanterelles or morels or
I found a spot I haven't marked of chicken in the woods.
chicken of the woods,
But it's like
out
a
there.
lot. Oh, it's out there too. It's
Yeah.
out there, but it's like fuck.
So
You fill up a 5-gallon bucket.
the mushrooms really help our body like regenerate.
they do the same thing in the soil and to the earth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm not a big fan. Like, I'm really not a big fan of the taste of mushrooms.
Oh, they're
I
disgusting.
love them.
Oh,
so
you guys,
good.
they're so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
You give me more.
That's my favorite lube is mushroom morel. You ever have morel lube? You and your lady one night get some morel lube. You'll have a good time.
What the fuck?
I'm imagining the smell.
Oh yeah, dude.
No, well, yeah.
It's gritty.
So long
No one
story
wants
short, I'm not
dude.
against kratom. It's I used it for a long time. I think it's way better than any fucking pharmaceutical synthetic bullshit.
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point where I need to get to the root of it. I need to get to like,
Just go fix it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm working on it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Right now my foot hurts like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
But I also haven't eaten any like good things.
How do you feel about stem cells?
Oh, yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I don't know.
It's better than mushroom lube.
I don't know because I think that we can build our
Build
own.
it your own inside your own body without having science or devil.
Well, here's the thing.
Shouldn't we all have stem cells in us somewhere?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
But don't they say they like they
Women
fall
have
off
them in
after
birth.
a while, right? Like,
Right.
So what
Well, you're talking
What
about
do
your
we need to
ability to
do?
regenerate.
Yes, and what do we need to do to like pump that up? What is it that we need to put in our body to or quit putting in our body to help?
Oh, there's a lot. I think all the plastic processed shit.
Oh.
Everything you buy from a grocery store. Like,
Yeah,
even
but
if you try to I was
we're-
trying to
we're-
buy cream cheese today to spread on bagels. I'm reading the ingredients and it's like these last 6 things I can't pronounce.
Yeah.
I just want milk that's been churned up until it turns
I've told you
into-
guys about Leif many times, and he was like, anytime you can't pronounce something, you shouldn't be eating it. I was
And
like,
that-
Leif,
Yeah, that
what's I'm gonna
eliminates
die?
damn near everything.
I can't read over here.
Yeah, but I feel like there is something.
It's like fake food. It's based in real food, but then there's
it's
a
all
bunch
for
of other
texture,
shit.
flavor, all
Exactly.
Well, or making it last longer or look
Yeah.
better or, all the other bullshit. But the fact of the matter is like anything you can get that grows out of the ground, great. And then you start going into like, well, I fucking built that garden bed with a fucking railroad tie.
Pressure treated.
Yeah,
lumber.
fuck. You know what I mean? Like, that's why, like, looking at that horticulture that you had going in your yard is so fucking interesting to me. And I'm also wondering, like, what burning the wood does before you put it in the ground, too.
It
You know what
starts
I mean?
the
'Cause there's-
decomposition, I think. The charring.
Opposite.
Yeah, coals actually make really good fertilizer.
Yeah, that's why, like, you want
You find
fucking
it in the ground.
clear cuts and old burns.
Yeah.
You know, it does some amazing stuff. So, like,
Because
that's weird.
It's creating biochar. And what happens is the charcoal in itself is just pure carbon. And the microbiome, all the shit that we don't see, but
Biology
it's
is carbon based.
like, and it creates all these little porous holes and they attach to it. And so what happens when you put the biochar in there, like you just get charcoal, put it in a bucket, piss in it, throw shit in it, mix fucking greens, whatever, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to build the microbiome, and then you break it up because then all the little inoculated points
Are released.
there's more surface area.
Little spores to go spread
And then you
everywhere.
just put that in there, and now you just created it's like yeast for sourdough starter or something, you know? It just starts fucking building.
Yeah.
My shit's looking really,
Yeah.
the stuff that
I know.
didn't get eaten by the goats,
Yeah.
it's looking pretty good.
They got out?
Yeah.
Goats
They
always
fucking
get
knocked
out.
the fence down, dude. Oh, those bastards.
Goats are the biggest problem animal because they can run through a brick wall, and you're like, God, I just should get rid of you. But then also,
Persistent and they're smart.
you put them in a confined area, and it's like, dude, they eat back everything. They're the best lawnmower ever.
They'll eat anything.
Anything,
dude.
yeah.
Dude, I had blackberry bushes with the fucking stalks.
They love it.
The quarter size around.
Yeah.
With literally probably 3/8 to 1/2 inch thorns. And they're just mowing
Yes.
them, and their fucking lips are bleeding and shit. And they're like, I'm
Here's some
what's
trivia.
wrong with you?
Yeah.
Here's some goat trivia for you. The palate, the upper palate of their mouth is so hard that if they don't eat things that have like thorns, or the reason they chew on like tin or metal is because if they don't cut that up, and it grows in too solid and it gets painful for them. So it's actually good for them to eat thorny raspberries.
It's like, well, you ever see
I
like
didn't know
camels
Yeah.
eating fucking
All that.
yeah,
Yeah.
prickly pear and
Yeah.
cactuses and shit.
It's
It's like,
like-
what the fuck?
It's all thorns sticking in the roof of their mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Man.
my God.
So yeah, Chandra.
DMSO
Yes.
and turpentine. Turpentine.
Turpentine.
Turpentine.
Yeah.
Okay, so turpentine is actually really, really, really beneficial to us. But prior to the Rockefellers, and then the Rockefellers tampering with turpentine, we are told that it's bad and we don't use it anymore. But if you look up real turpentine from a fir tree, like it's just pine tar, pine sap pitch that heals the tree. And we hold the same things that the tree holds. And so if it can get an axe chopped into its side and get a pie chunk taken out, and then it's using its,
Regeneration abilities.
it might have a scar there forever
Yeah.
and not, or whatever it is, but it'll heal up.
Yeah.
Our ancestors all used it. Doesn't matter what color you were, but more specifically white people, just because white peoples wear conifers or you know, pine trees, fir trees
We're
all
around it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Plants local to that.
yeah, and the thing is like, if you go to Mexico or Africa or Australia, they have other trees that do the same type of thing.
Yeah.
Like there's dragon's blood, which is like a red resin that comes out of this certain type of tree, and they use it for all sorts of different shit. So you can use
So are you mixing that shit together?
dragon's blood.
No.
I have some.
DMSO and turpentine.
What is DMSO? I'm familiar with the term DMSO, but I don't know what it is.
Damn it. Dretha, her. I can't. I'm not even going
I
to
don't
begin
need to know the chemical name.
So-
What do you use it for?
It,
Oh, it's a deliverant through your skin, correct?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, but it by itself can do a lot of like good. So my dad.
They put it
It's
on
very
horses,
strong.
right?
You
get
can
it
do
at the feed
damage
store?
too. It's a powerful
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Do you get it at the feed store? Do you rub it on horses
you-
that have arthritis?
You can, yes.
Okay. Now I know what it is.
So that's where I got mine from.
Okay.
Is the feed store, and I just rub it.
Just
on
rub it all over your balls.
Yeah, and it feels
Balls, sorry.
so
My
good.
bad.
Well, I'm trying. Well, with any luck,
Yeah.
with any
Get some
luck,
stem cells in there, buddy.
yeah, this DMSO is bringing it on, dude.
So
if,
do
if
you-
a
so-
tree's
okay.
gonna heal itself.
So
No,
all jokes
so-
aside,
okay.
is painkiller, relaxant?
No.
What is it used for?
No. So let me tell you my introduction to this.
You can leave your pants on.
So my dad and my uncle were like arborists, right? So they'd go and cut down trees all over the place. So they met wild and interesting people constantly, learning little tidbits and facts from all these old timers and whatnot. And they were climbing a tree, and like my uncle, something happened, and my uncle was like, "Shit, my fucking leg or my knee," and he had a little limp, or like something happened. And a gal goes, "Have you ever used DMSO?" And he was like, "What the fuck is that?" And basically, she was like, "Oh, it's the stuff that helps hold tree, like a tree together."
Oh shit.
Is what I was told, right? Later in life, I was told people would mix it with LSD and fucking spray it into fucking crowds. But anyway,
Grateful
so
Dead concerts
it-
were awesome back
yeah.
in the day.
So, but it has a lot of different like healing properties. So if you have an issue with like your knee or something, and you rub it on there, it will actually like get through the skin barrier and get into
Penetrate
into what you
Yeah.
need. And it's one of the one of the only things that will do it, right? So my uncle would rub it on the problem area, and it all of a sudden it's like, fuck, I'm good. I'm good. This fucking worked well. My great grandma, she was having problems with her knee, and my dad goes, "Oh, have you ever heard of DMSO?" and da 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 da, and like the doctor was like, "You need surgery. And my dad was like, "Just rub some of this on there." And so she started putting it on there, and all of a sudden,
I'm gonna try this.
she was fine. And then the doctor goes, "What the fuck did you use? Like what happened? I've never seen this." And she's like, "Oh, my I started using DMSO, and that it helped." And she was like, "What's DMSO?" And anyway, it helps with regeneration and different shit like that.
Freaking Amazon guy.
Oh,
There's also
sorry, I don't know a lot about it, but I just know that like I've heard from my family
I'll start
doing
putting it
things
on my
that
left
truly
knee.
helped.
Yeah.
But then like you have to be clean. You have to really make sure like you clean the area because it'll pull any
Contaminants into it.
It'll pull.
what knee
that
is it?
through.
Your right knee?
My right knee. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to get a little woo-woo for you too, okay? There's also another layer to all of this where we can use tuning forks to help heal ourselves as well through frequency,
Okay.
okay? So you have your physical body, and then you have what people would call your aura, or if you want the scientific term, it's called a biofield, okay? And your biofield is the electromagnetism that's holding your body together from falling over the place. Your consciousness is not inside of you. It's outside of you. This is why they can't figure out where the fuck
Where it is.
it is because it's not inside. If I could draw, it would be like, I'm just going to say a rainbow. And then Jordan is inside of it.
A toroidal field.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
I'll draw one for you.
It's like a donut.
Yeah. Imagine.
I got it.
But what I have found is that wherever we get an injury, the physical part is the last to be affected. Okay? So you're an electric being. What I mean by this is that you hold a current. You hold energy.
Yeah.
And if your heart stops, the way that we get this body back working is we pump electricity into it. Okay? So if we're pumping electricity into you, and you're an electric being, the best way I can explain it would be like an electrician, okay? You're going to be the light switch. You're on right now. If the heart stops, the light switch goes off. But above that is the power box or the circuit breaker. And above that is the power lines all the way up, okay? There's
levels.
There's levels. When we go through our life and we get bumps and bruises and endure shit, our aura, our magnetism, our little biofield, like the Force in Star Wars, gets weakened. It should be at least 6 feet in all directions around us. But over time, certain things happen, and in certain places around our body, it gets weakened. So I will use a tuning fork and tune, because you're like a musical instrument. You're a vibration, you're a frequency, and will tune you or me or whoever back into the natural default setting, which will then increase your aura and will help heal that. And then it becomes less likely for something to happen. So the reason why I ask, you said it's your right knee. Okay, so it says the right knee would be hurt because of blocked by obstacles, uncertainty about what to move towards and where to go. It says groundness, rootedness, movement, challenges, and obstacles, letting go and building our life. So wherever in your life you have felt blocked by obstacles or uncertain about what move, like where you should go from here, that's all held within your right knee.
Oh, fuck.
Which then fucks with your aura because, like I said, there's realms to this. Yeah. So it gets weakened. And then, boom.
Presents his pain.
Right. I have a whole list of every single part on the human body of where we hold our emotions. Because my right shoulder was really fucked up one time. And it just randomly, like, to the point where I wanted to cry. I think I tried taking my shirt off and I did cry.
I was going to say, you probably should.
I think I did cry. And it was weird because I got stuck. Like, I was upstairs in my room and I couldn't fucking get my shirt off and it was stuck and it was hurting. And I'm like, and then it was weird though because I wanted to cry, but it felt like I wanted to cry for a completely different reason.
Yes.
Yeah, because
you're not crying about
stuck.
pain. Because we don't.
But it was weird because I shut it down immediately. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, where's this coming from?
The physical pain, I don't know that I've ever cried from physical pain.
No. Not since you were... Oh,
no, I don't.
You said, yeah. You've told us that story.
Yeah.
And I found out that in my left shoulder, so the shoulder, the saying goes, is like, we carry the weight of the world, right? Well, your left side of your body is your feminine side. It's your receiving side. And your right side is your masculine side, which is your penetrating side. So it's my left shoulder. And so that's emotion. And I'm holding a lot of emotion of something that I'm not getting rid of. I'm just suppressing it in.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, dude, it fucking hurt me so bad. And I started using my tuning fork every day. It's good to go.
See, that's interesting because my feminine shoulder doesn't hurt ever. But my penetrating shoulder.
Okay, because you're penetrating. Okay, your right shoulder.
Oh, dude, it's
so
killing me.
That is carrying the weight of the world physically, like in this world.
You're telling me.
Constant shit to do. Constantly taking care of shit. Constantly
build that kitchen, son.
Good.
Yeah, our body holds everything, all on like the outside of us. So when we go into sickness, disease, hurting our body, like injuring it, we can go up and find the root of why it's actually happening.
Yeah, that was something that really got hammered home to me during that last heart ceremony, which is the notion that every memory, you have every memory from your entire life.
Yep.
And it's not in your conscious brain, but it is encoded in your body and your DNA. And so the way, I guess she didn't get me to the memory that night, but she got me to the trailhead. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, holy shit, I do have memories from infancy. Mm-hmm. I just don't have everyday access to them. Wild.
Yeah, your body keeps score, man.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, sorry. And that gets back to when you take emotional damage, basically, or trauma, then it gets encoded into your DNA and then gets written into the program that is Jordan or Kozak or Tyler or Tobin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty bizarre.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Because Tobin made us read this stupid book, and it's making me think.
Fucking Kozak.
Do you think? So you said,
hang on, Mike. You don't have to think. You just have to access the divine matrix.
Yeah. Shut up.
By Mark.
Yeah. Do you think that? So he said that we're energetic beings, and I agree with that. That makes sense to me. Do you think that energy that helps direct our lives in certain energy or in certain paths. If it's, say, maybe a positive energy, it directs us towards this. If it's a negative energy, it directs our life into this path. Do you think things like energy or fire, which Jordan said, and I thought this was a really good one, do you think they have consciousness?
Fire?
Yes, fire and electricity, energy.
Yes.
Do you think there's consciousness found in things such as fire?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. I don't think that they have a spirit or a soul. Oh, okay. They have a spirit.
Ooh, I like where you're going with this, dude.
Okay. Spirit, I take that back. Spirit, yes. Soul, no. Okay. The spirit is the essence in itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
But do you think they have consciousness?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I know.
Yeah, I disagree. But that's all right. Keep going.
Yes. 100%. Everything has consciousness.
Yeah.
This has consciousness.
Yeah. A rock has
A rock has
consciousness.
consciousness. Every single thing has consciousness.
Yes.
Meaning you can interact with it.
Yeah.
It doesn't speak English. It's not a human being. It's not going to interact the way that our fucking brain's little limiting belief system.
yeah.
But I
gonna
can
work.
pick it up and it makes me feel good.
You're right, because it has energy. I can go talk to the tree and I can ask it a question and I can close my eyes and listen. And
Well, hang on. That one I get because a tree is a biological creature. A rock or a flame.
This
is not.
guy.
This motherfucker.
it is
This
not.
guy.
But it still has an energy. It still has a frequency.
And I get that it has a spirit.
Yes.
And I agree that it does not have a soul. But I also agree, I think that like a flame does not have consciousness.
Okay.
But that's just me.
That's okay.
No
How
one's
does it know
perfect.
when to go out then? Dumbass.
I think out of all things, the elements absolutely have consciousness.
Okay.
Like earth, wind, water, fire,
Yes.
basic elements?
Yes. They all are the first.
Like a rock?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
I look at all of those as giants. And giants are the things that are bigger than us. They are the things that are out of our control.
That's what we're crawling
And
on.
they're the first energy that becomes humanoid. So it's not a human,
Yeah.
but it has emotion. And now has energy with motion behind it. Whether it's fire, whether it's water, whether it's the earth, whether it's wind?
Wind.
Yeah. Earth, wind, water, fire.
Okay. So some days it's peaceful, and some days the wind's fucking ripping. That's an emotion. The water, some days the ocean is calm, and other days it's a fucking crazy storm out there. The fire, sometimes it's nice and harnessed where we're roasting marshmallows, and other time you have wildfires. Mudslides, volcanoes, earthquakes, same thing. Doesn't happen all the time, but these are all emotions.
Yeah.
That is the first energy that becomes humanoid.
So it's like a precursor to consciousness, like the energy of that emotion.
Yeah.
Like the energy of that mass of mountains kind of helps create wind whipping up
Do
them
you
and
think
down.
we're
Right.
earth, wind, fire, water's fucking AI?
What?
No.
Like, I mean, do you think we're like the next like level above that?
I do think that
AI
No,
something
no.
weird. We're creating consciousness.
That's what I'm
I don't
saying.
think
Yeah.
no, we're not. No, they're not. They're
Yeah.
programming something that answers the way they want to. Look at that Google thing where they
Yeah,
they
they
said,
made
"Hey,
it
show us,"
Nazis
you
now,
know,
but
yeah.
that's
no. It shows that the AI is only capable of responding within its programming.
yeah.
So
But-
it's not
So
AI.
it's not
The
truly,
ability
it's
to
not truly
learn.
sentient.
But if you can create a
But
program
I guess that's what I'm
smart
trying to say
enough
is
to
like,
constantly
but
have
that-
we
learn.
done that?
Are we just
Did
a
we
program?
come from
Yeah.
that?
Because
Of
people,
course.
if you set someone in front of MSNBC,
We're energy.
they will
We're
just
ones and
repeat back what they
zeros.
see. Yeah, you're
We're
right.
binary.
We're not by.
Onary?
Binary, trinary.
Trans?
Let
binary.
me explain to you how energy works really quick.
Please.
Shit.
Okay? Okay. I'm going to use a compass. I hope you guys all know how to use a compass.
I did rifleman camp.
Yep, I was gonna say.
And then I'm going to use the metaphor of a baby. Okay? Making a child. So,
Oh, all
Okay.
right.
check it out.
Checks out.
all energy starts in the north. And all energy, no matter what it is in a vortex. It's always making some type of cyclone, vortex. It creates a toroidal field, okay?
Which comes from, it comes
Out
out
of
of
the
the
center,
north,
makes the
but it
donut,
comes
and then
from the
back in the
south,
South Pole,
and
yes.
works
Okay.
its way through, right? So like a donut.
Right, like a donut.
There we go. All right.
There we go. Okay, so our compass is always pointing to the north because that is where the strongest energy is coming from. And that is potential energy from the north. Okay? Potential energy is the energy of, hey, let's have a child. It's a thought. Okay? But it is the most potent. And if we were to walk straight into it without any type of protection, it would just incinerate us. Okay? The energy, not if we actually go to the North Pole. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the way energy works. Potential energy is just...
But that's how your body works too.
Right.
Yeah.
As above, so below. As within, so without. Then you go to the east. Okay? The east, you have expanding energy coming in. Now you have conception. Boom. Thor, that's the giants over there. The ever-expanding energies. Thor defends against them every single day because he protects mankind. If it wasn't for him, then we would all just be blown the fuck up. That's the myth, okay? Then you get down to the south, which is fire, and that's where you are going to burn out all of the impurity of what you're creating, such as... I'm a blacksmith, so I'm going to fold my steel over and over and over again in the fire to pound out all of the slag and dross so that I can get clean, pure iron. Because from this point on, when I go to forge it, I want to make sure it never breaks in battle or whatever it is. So now's the time where we got to get rid of all the bullshit. So as a child, it's going to figure out whether it's going to be a boy or girl. And then it's going to get rid of all the things that isn't going to allow it to create that.
As a child or before it's a child?
It's in the womb.
Okay.
Okay, it's in the womb.
So okay.
It could be
just
the
making sure.
Yes.
Because that shit doesn't happen outside the womb.
No.
Okay, just making sure.
No, it would be the same as this. We're going to build a 6-foot fence. We're going to go to Lowe's. We're going to get fucking 2x4s. We're going to buy a bunch of 10-foot 2x4s. But our fence is 6 feet. So we have to cut the drop. Right? We got to cut off the extra, and we're just going to have some drop in order for us to get our creation to be the way that we want it to be. Then you move to the west, which is the air, and that's the land of time and space. And you have the birth. You have it coming out, and now you have something manifested in this realm. The energy has been purified and condensed into something dense enough to now be within time and space. And then it goes back up to the northwest, and that's the land of the elves or the ascended masters or your higher self, whatever you want to talk about. And that's the spirit realm again. And boom. And then it makes that's the one ring to rule them all type of thing, you know?
I can actually draw
Yeah,
that
buddy.
on a piece
I
of
like
paper for you sometime. It'll help it make sense.
No, I mean, it makes sense to me. Like, I'm not
Okay.
saying it makes
Okay.
sense. I was just trying to make a joke about binary and being gay and then, like,
And that's what you
being
got.
in the womb and, you know, that happens there, not like when I decide when I'm 18 that I'm a woman
You
now.
like dudes?
Yeah.
No.
Sorry.
in your
It didn't land like I thought it would. That's
They
on me.
never do. The amount of jokes I try and make. In that mythology, is there any metric for the importance of the center of the compass? Like if you have all these extremes on polar opposite ends, to have the platform for creation, this space, that center of the compass, is that important?
That's maybe not the most important, but equally as important as all other things, because I go by Norse mythology. There's 9 realms, okay? There's a world tree called Yggdrasil, with an underworld, the world of the dead, Midgard, which is where we're at, Earth, and then Asgard, which is the heavens above.
So is this kind of purgatory here? Like it's the in-between realm where you get to figure out your shit before you descend or ascend?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it purgatory, but
Wow.
But
I mean, that whole
Pretty fucking great.
Yeah.
but we choose. I think that we choose to come here. I don't think it's a prison. I think that we, like your soul, Kozak's soul, is never born. It never dies. It's infinite.
Yeah.
This vessel that you're in, sure,
It's chosen.
it is chosen.
And you come here to learn what you need to learn, and then you go back.
Okay, hold on one second. Back to the compass. Back to the compass.
Sure.
You're right, by the way.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. You have 9 realms because there's 8 directions. You have north, northeast, east, southeast, south, southwest, west, northwest. That's 8. And then you have the center, which is earth. Because when we pull all of the energies from all the directions together, we condense them into this.
Reality.
So, for instance, I know the runes. The runes all go on this wheel. Medicine wheel is what Native Americans call it. I don't know. I call it the helm of awe. And it's a compass. And so, for instance, say you had a question. You're like, you know what, Tyler? I'm really confused about what my future looks like. I could pull the runes, and then they'd tell me something. Now, depending on how the rune works, I can know what direction that rune comes from. I know what chakra it connects to, and I can go directly across from it to either be able to help you harness that energy into your life, or we just need to straight use it. We don't need to go straight across. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
People have been doing this since the beginning of time. With the directions.
Yeah.
And with the rocks and with the wood.
Yeah.
And with so yeah, in that, the center point is us. It's harnessing the directions because it's the elements. For instance, my birthday is August 12th, 1988, and that makes me a double Leo. So double Leo is 2 fixed fire signs. So my whole entire life, I just want to fucking rage on everything, whether it's a good time or a bad time. That's all I want to do. But I found that it's gotten me in a lot of trouble too. And when I went to Costa Rica in the sweat lodge, I wanted to rage. I was pissed the fuck off. It was hard, and I kept wanting to like chant and just be wild, and it would make my heart rate go up, and then my breath would get fucked up, and then I get like dizzy.
Go down again.
And then I would be about to pass out. And so I noticed in there that I only know how to use the fire element. And at that point, the fire element was going to kill me. Even though it's one of my greatest assets,
Hot as shit.
it's hot as shit. So I had to work on my emotions. And I had to realize that no matter how much I want to rage, I must find peace. I must find calmness and stillness and just work on my breath and work on my heart rate and just fucking trust that I'm going to make it through. And it was like, oh, that's the water element inside. I was like bagging water. I had this like vision of, will the water dragon please make love to the fire dragon? Please, please. I'm going to fucking die in here, man. And finally I made it through. And I just, like, my head was down on the fucking dirt. My teeth were in the mud. And I remember feeling earth. Yeah. And I remember thinking in my head, and mind you, I'm sober. I don't have any medicine or anything. I'm just in this fucking sweat lodge. That when
your body's probably producing some shit.
Oh,
Yeah, you're going. Yeah, you're not sober.
Not sober.
You're not sober.
it was the gnarliest thing. But I remember feeling like, okay, when I'm wigging out and I can't figure out what I'm going to do. I need to get my emotions under control. I need to calm down. And if I can't figure out how to calm down, I need to ground. I need to find earth. And if that means that my face needs to be in the mud on all fours and my forehead touching the fucking ground, then so be it. And that was the day when I started to realize what the elements were for, what these energies are. There's energies all around us. We just can't see it with our naked eye, but I know people and I've seen things myself that is energy. And so I think that the more we talk about it, the more we learn about it,
more than you can see it.
Yes.
Because the human eyeball only picks up a very narrow spectrum of electromagnetic radiation.
Oh, Jordan's book, not yours.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck you. But you can feel the divine matrix.
Yeah, dude.
I feel it.
For
It's
sure,
brewing
for
deep
sure.
inside.
All I know is they all have consciousness.
Well, I feel that was enlightening, though. We did learn rocks have
No,
consciousness.
but and back to like right at the beginning of the hour when Tyler was talking about your biofield. So that's been demonstrated through, God damn it, I can't think of the name of the machine. But they can actually test the electrical field that radiates off a human body. And it's there. And it does, like Tyler said, it extends for anywhere from like 3 to 15 feet. And that I think that is why you can pick up on how someone is. Like if you sit down next to your friend, and you're like,
What's going on, dude?
everything good, bro?
yeah, you just
you know,
feel
or
it,
some like when you walk into the gym and everybody's up and happy because it's sort of like an up and happy place to be, and you sort of feel that. And even if you've had a bad day or a shitty day at work, you walk in that door and you go, "Oh, hey, I feel good and I feel happy."
There's also like the energy levels that like, if I'm super somber and you're stoked.
It collides.
we
feel bad about.
Well, no,
I feel
no,
bad
it's
for
not
being stoked, and then you feel bad.
No,
for
it's
being down.
it's not necessarily. It will level itself out, like air pressure.
because it seeks
If
to
we
harmonize.
spend, yes,
And
exactly.
that's back to the
only
resonance. Yes.
only if you guys are not conscious
Right.
about energy.
Yes.
Well, and that's the thing, right?
But if you're
So-
conscious about energy,
and
the
not
person
letting someone bring you down, because
Yes.
But
two different
there's
wavelengths will
a-
seek to harmonize with each, or not wavelengths, frequencies will seek to harmonize with each other. That's back
But
to
that's the
thermodynamics
thing,
a little
right?
bit.
Like there's people who they don't understand it.
Yeah.
But naturally,
I know.
but
I'm
naturally,
over here.
okay. Well, let's
Pee
take
break.
a pee break.
like I can talk about shit, but I can't just. I get off topic all the time.
Yeah, sames.
Dude, the amount of times I have to go, I'll sit there and be like, fuck, I have no idea what I was talking about. Yeah. And then I have to push pause, and then I have to go to the podcast. I have to rewind.
Listen to
We
it.
have to
Yeah.
listen to it.
Yeah, and
Oh,
then
man.
push play again, and then go where I left off, because I'll be like, how the fuck did I start talking about this? I thought I was talking about that. Well, like you said, I had a rhyme to the reason, you know?
Yeah, you're exploring an idea.
But halfway there, I forgot what the fuck I was doing.
yeah, because they're evolved.
You do that when you're
convoluted.
hunting. You ever do that when you're hunting?
Oh,
You fucking walk down a trail and you're like, I'm gonna go check this out, and then you're like, I'm just gonna walk a few hundred yards. Down here. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're,
2 miles.
you're like
look around that
fucking way deep. You're like, where the fuck am I?
Why is there a
How
river
the
down here?
There is nothing over here.
Okay, I want to keep going back to what we're hitting. And what we were talking about earlier was if you have two different types of people, you have one person that's extremely happy and you have one person that's extremely sad, right? When you mix them, we were starting to talk about how there's a balancing of the two energies, but also
Harmonizing.
with conscious beings. Like if you have a hot and a cold rock that's it has consciousness, but it has no soul. I'm working on this, dude. I'm getting better. How does that interact? There has to be a difference. That thing of the soul interacting with the two. And especially, I like the idea of the hot and the cold, the north and the south, the positive and the opposite.
And when they come together, like when you take fire and you take water
Yeah.
and you bring them together, it creates steam.
Yes.
Okay? And steam is the energy of passion. And that's the energy that can never be contained.
Is that like love? That's art.
That's right.
That's
You ever seen the Titanic, motherfucker?
Some call me Rose of the podcast. Where
I was watching Jordan. He got excited when he said that.
draw me.
I mean, if you have like a pressure cooker,
Yeah.
if you don't have a release valve on it, it's going to be a bomb.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you bring those two things together, it creates passion because essentially you're bringing a
Opposites.
positive and a negative together. You're creating a conduit. It's a receiver transmitter. And so that runs with inside of us as well. That's why when we're getting our fire element and our water element,
Do you think it's because it's so direct, so directly opposite that there is such a pull of energy from one to the other that like that
Yes.
is like
Yeah.
Yes.
so much more powerful than any other? It's a straight line, and there's no deviation.
Well, I have to think to this that the people that I think that I enjoy their art, their literature, their speech, the ideas that they've laid forth usually come from a shadier background than I grew up in suburbia and I had these crazy ideas. I think passion is what art is. I think that chaos is what art and great philosophy and ideas do come from, is people that have lived lives. A lot of us would like to say hard, or I've worked these lives, but I think it's the life that you didn't even dictate yet. Who you come from, your parents, your upbringing, what that life was like. People like a Jimi Hendrix didn't have the most stable life. People that create the biggest impact always seem like they come from adversity and they kind of work through it and they adapt to it, or they use it to their benefit.
But at some
I
point,
find that interesting.
The people who live the hardest life never have an outlet. To
Explain.
allow
Keep
that.
going.
You know what I mean? Like, so, like, think the people who have lived the craziest, hard, intense life never have a conduit which to express it, and that's just the reality of the situation. Like, Jimi Hendrix was given a fucking guitar.
What? Well,
At some point in his life,
yeah.
he was given something that he latched onto and he was able to pour everything out of, right? But the people who are really suffering, like hard,
But they don't have the
they-
steam yet. They're still fire. They haven't
I
met
guess
the water.
that's true. I
The
guess
steam
so.
is the
Maybe
conduit
the
for
conduit
release.
was the fucking guitar.
Yeah,
That's
you
a
look
good
at people
point.
that really express life, they're using it as a conduit. That steam, I do think that's a fucking great analogy.
But-
I like that.
But yeah, well, let's go back to that. Like, the energies that people have, positive, negative. I was always told that until you need to guard your energy, not like you don't have to like make sure you have to only hang out with people who are positive.
I
But
think the opposite is true. You can be the beam, or you can be the more powerful generator, and
you can bring people up to your level.
exactly,
But
or at least
but at
not
some
let them
point-
take you down.
but at
at
some
least
point,
broadcast
yeah.
a strong enough signal that
And that-
nobody's going to bring you down.
Yeah.
But then, then that's why you get communities that sort of thrive on each other, whether it's, like our gym or what else, any kind of club people could belong to, a sports team or whatever, where they begin to sort of share it. Like when they're around each other, they're there for a positive reason. So they have that, they're in their positive mode and they're in their positive,
Well, they bring
broadcast.
that to them. But I mean,
And then they start to resonate with each other. And that's when the group becomes like a positive experience, right?
yeah. But so I've always been told, or I guess I was told when I started like
Wrestling.
learning about this. Not wrestling. No, it was
But that mentality.
It was a wrestling coach. No, it was just like it was you have there are people who are positive, there are people who are negative, and you will even each other out. One will bring the other down, the other one will bring the other one up until you find equilibrium and just that is where you're at.
So that's where the passion comes in. That's where the
Yes.
fire we're going to take fire as a dude who's really optimistic. We're going to take water as dude who's somber and sad and
Can we say girl?
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Say whatever you want. Yeah.
Makes me happy.
Lady boy Jordan Lang.
And the thing is that when they come together, chaos is going to erupt because the energies are completely opposite. As long as one of them knows how to harness their own energy, they will be able to take the chaos and be able to turn it into a passion for good. If they are not, the person who is on the water side is going to bring them down, and the chaos is going to turn to two people sitting there crying, sitting on the couch. Because the energy always has to be directed in a way. It can't just stop.
But that is the, I guess I agree. The passion, crying and sitting on a couch can be a positive thing.
It can. Oh, 100%.
So like the thought of like turning, like I just think that like there are times and places and people in your life where sometimes you'll have to chase them, even though they're negative,
Right.
to bring them to a place where it is knowing what you're going to do.
Yes.
Knowing that this is my goal. I am chasing this person who needs help, and I can bring this negative issue, even though they're kind of running from
You're
it.
saying bring it into balance by lowering yourself.
No.
Oh.
No, I'm saying be the beam that you were talking about, knowing what you're doing, being aware of your energy and what this person needs.
Okay.
And I can anchor myself in this energy of I am doing this for you.
Yeah.
But sometimes people get lost in the sauce and they fall down.
Okay.
And where
I think
like,
I see where you're going.
but at the same time, like it's like anything. You take 10 fucking rocks, you throw them into a pool for a half hour, they're all gonna figure it out, and they're gonna kind of like settle into a closer proximity of temperature. That is what I've basically been told your energies will do, and you were put on this earth as an energy your soul is energy, and you come here and you experience emotion that you haven't. That's why you're here on this earth, to experience these emotions. And as you experience these emotions in different things, then you die. You go through the fire, and then you have a moment of clarity as this other being, your soul, and then you will come back, and when you're ready to experience something that you need to learn further. And then once you gain full enlightenment of all these emotions in all these different places, then you'll go to the next realm.
Yeah. You know what's wild is that, you know how like each mushroom.
What are your thoughts?
No, I love it, bro. I love everything you just said. You know how each mushroom trip, there's like that initial hard hump you have to get over. And then you get to the backside. It's like you learn all the lessons that you're going to learn that night, and you're like, oh, thank you. What if your entire life is the equivalent of that for your soul? Mm-hmm. And we're going to have to do this a bunch of times. Mm-hmm. That sounds hard.
Yeah.
It sounds hard. Fuck.
But well, and you have to decide to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But that is life. You
guys want to do a podcast when we come back around next life?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Cool.
Duh.
It's weird. Somehow we got on Call Her Daddy. That'll be our podcast in After Rome. It's like, why didn't we start this? Yeah. Afterlife, huh?
Well, so that what are your thoughts on that whole thing? What are your thoughts on the
on the spectrum of living and life and existence?
Yeah, give me a thought on that.
Quick synopsis.
So with that's what I've always thought. Like since I was young, I should say that's kind of how life works.
Yeah.
And
see, but I think you're separating something like the micro and the macro. Like on the micro, you take your individual life and then your interaction with someone else. Say you're the positive person and this other person's a negative person. Well, yes, maybe you will balance out and that won't pull you down a whole lot.
Do you need to answer?
Podcast fuel. But if you have a collective, a whole group of negative people, right?
You need to escape.
Right. And if you don't, it's not going to balance. Balance of a lot of negative and a little positive is going to pull that positive.
The term, like, you never want to be the smartest person in a room.
Yeah.
That was made up by an idiot.
Well, yeah. And he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong. That's why I feel great all the time.
But I mean that micro macro, it's like, I think that's an interesting way to think of countries, think of society, think of the world, think of the other countries that we have conflict with, Does having a United States that sees life a little bit more tough right now, does that make a stronger character, or does that pull everyone else's emotional strength or what they're thinking about this place that they live in? It makes them feel a little bit more negative. I think this is an interesting thing because on the micro, you take a positive person and a negative person, hang out, maybe they balance out, but you take a whole bunch of people as a nation and stuff. How does that affect people? It has to have a pull that's way more intense, and it's taking tons of energy.
I have something to say.
Yeah, go.
Okay, so we have things. I know it as there's 3 roots in the world tree. Okay, they're giantess, and they weave the web of weird. The web of weird is essentially the matrix, what we live in. Okay, in Vedic tradition or Taoist or East Indian, they talk about it as like karma and dharma. Mm-hmm. In English, we talk about it as fate and destiny. And what is the difference between those? Well, fate is karma. Karma is the things that is out of our control that we came here to learn our lessons for. Whatever we fucked up last time or whatever we didn't get or whatever it is that we chose to come here for to learn our soul is karma. My father killing himself, nothing I could do. That's fate.
Well, I think about it is like your analogy of the compass, like karma and dharma. One is based off of here's the parameters, right? And this is the existence of what just has to happen. And that's the center of the compass. But then the north, the south, the east, the west, the northwest, the southwest, those are all what your influence is on the life. Yes.
And so
it's 2-part. Yes.
And there's this thing where when we follow our soul, when we follow our heart, and we do what we know that we're supposed to be doing, then you will be destined to become a black belt. You will be destined to whatever it is, become stones and bones.
Yeah.
The only way that this whole thing would have ever came out is if I followed this path. That's destiny. If I didn't listen to that, I would have continued staying at the Union and making parts for Bill Gates. But
a lot of the times it feels like the path is, I don't know it's right. I'm doing what just makes me happy.
Yeah, this is the thing about learning about yourself.
Yeah. So it's like, is it really a path of life, or is personal pursuit in the best ability the real path? Making you being God, you being
I think it starts in like self-discovery and truly figuring out what it is that makes you tick.
Yeah.
And where it is you are.
I've been thinking a lot about this because my oldest son is in middle school, and that's kind of the beginning of when you're a kid, you just live to be you. And middle school is when you start trying to fit in and you start looking around and wondering, okay, how do I be cool, or how do I do this? And you have some kids start dressing like cowboys. They wear Wranglers and big belt buckles and cowboy boots, and other kids dress like jocks. And other
you are
kids,
from Eastern Washington for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know how you
And some kids dress like Kurt Cobain. And then you go
I
through.
can't look at you with this hat and these headphones. It's like you're talking about being cool, dude. You look like a podcast refugee from Ukraine right now. What the fuck?
He's got a beanie holding on his headphones that are about
My head was
3 feet wide.
4 inches wider than his whole head.
Sorry. I'm just trying
hilarious.
to take you in.
No, keep it on. I love it.
There we
Damn
go.
it.
Put it back on a minute. Now I lost my
It's
train
fucking
of thought.
cold.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna do it.
Your boy, learning to live for other people. He's grown up in his own world.
And so as we
now.
go through our adult life, like young adult life, then you start wondering, like, what do I need to be attractive to women, and what do I need to be to get a good job, and you create this. It's a construct. It's your ego, and what it is this idea of what you want to see yourself as, that you want to present to the world.
Yeah.
What I should
And a
be.
lot of it is just from your imagination, and it's not your true self. And so now coming to a point where I'm starting to realize, hey, it's time to get back to trying to recognize the things that are actually me. And the things that make
because
me
you
happy.
have this. You have karma, you have dharma,
Yeah.
and then you have free will. Those are the three. Braid. It's a braid, and they weave together.
Wait, hang on. This is where I battle.
Okay.
Is free will really free will, or is free will there is infinite possibilities of chance of path to go down? So free will is your ability to choose whatever path.
Well, that's the thing. It's your ability to choose whatever path.
Yes.
You could be destined. I could be destined to be Stones and Bones, and I have free
Take
will.
the
I
wrong
could
path.
choose to fucking go work at Subway for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna have to deal with the karma, because that's the thing that's just out of my control, right? That's the level that I chose, so to speak. But the destiny isn't gonna happen, so I'm not gonna really accomplish my goal. But what I realize is that even that, me saying, what's my mission or purpose? Who's my true self, and what is my mission and purpose? Who the fuck am I? What are we doing? What is this place? Where did we come from? Even that, I think, is still a limiting belief. Because if I say, what's your mission and purpose here as a human being? All of a sudden I put
A label.
I put something like you're supposed to be doing something. What we're supposed to be doing is evolving and growing and learning how to love and cooperate and work together as a species, because that's the way humans work really fucking well.
Oh, fuck. As a species, we're in like kindergarten.
Yes.
Well, that oddly enough is what they were working on in kindergarten.
Yeah.
That the most basic things we did as children are the things we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And we somehow
As a
get
society.
so
And
fucking far, and
we're fucking way
like
off.
because everybody wants to separate themselves
Yeah.
from each other. And that's at some point what we're told we're supposed to do. I need to separate myself from Mike Kozak, because if we're different, that means that we have individuality, and I'm better. But at the end of the day, like, we want the same exact thing, and we need to want the same thing.
The same thing, but isn't there a purpose to us being here and existing in this spot? Like the fact that there is krill for the whales to eat in the ocean. Yes, it sucks.
You don't think those krills were partying before they got eaten?
Yeah, dude. Epstein Island krill, I heard. But they have a purpose. There's something beautiful in that everything has a little bit of a purpose.
Well,
I agree 100%.
We definitely have a purpose.
Yeah.
And we like as a species on this planet in the circle of life, we 100% have a purpose.
I feel it's convoluted now more than ever, but our purpose is something that I feel we're talking about. What we should achieve. What's our higher calling?
And you think about the things that we can do to help nature. I've watched humans help wild animals. I've watched people rebuild whole fucking forests and food, and I've watched humans do all sorts of cool shit. The thing is that our purpose isn't to get a bunch of money so we can retire. Our purpose isn't to own a fucking Ferrari and a yacht and take Instagram pictures with some chick who likes to twerk.
Two chains.
That's like it's not. I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But it's not a purpose.
Yeah.
So the thing
good weekend
to me is like, if you meditate, if you fucking go to a different realm, if you die, you're not going to be able to experience this.
Yeah.
Time and space is an illusion that we are in right now. I know because there's hypnotists. I can watch people lose their fucking mind and think dragons are real because it's all in our mind. In this realm, there's time and space, but the next one's up. There isn't time and space. It's just consciousness. So I know that, like, what was I saying?
This time and space is happening here, and you are put in this realm to experience certain things.
Talking about hardships. So, okay, hang on. That kind of derailed me, but I where Tyler was going, he was saying what I think he was saying. Let me put that out there.
You guys are so stoned.
No, this is perfect, but this is metaphysics. It's like you're grasping threads, trying to use it as a rope to climb up.
I was just teasing. I haven't been listening for 5 minutes.
Nah, you're good. Like most listeners. Okay, but then, so having a purpose as a human, having a purpose as a person.
There we go.
Like part of your person,
And we're back.
part of your purpose is the trials and tribulations, the hardships. I talk all the time about evolution because I think evolution is real because of natural problems. If you're, I say it all the time, if you are a mouse living in a jungle, moving to the outskirts of the desert, right? And you're white, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb, right? You want to start to turn tan, right? And because the hawks are going to start coming and eating you. So the more that your offspring or the mice that do survive have a more tannish color, they're going to do better in this desert. And to me, that means What? But to me, that means hardship. And I think that's the purpose of life, is to have change through pain. And I think it's interesting kind of taking that mentality also into like, that is the purpose of life, is to have pain and overcome it. I think that creates higher consciousness, is not being the tadpole in the pond just living life. I think it's to be the tadpole that had its tail bitten off, that grew up and was a frog and had problems, but it creates a stronger frog that's going to understand life, show his kindling, create a stronger lineage. I feel our purpose is to have problems. And when you address that, that creates win. That's overcoming.
So
that's truly living.
The saying, like the weakest link in a chain, or like whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah.
With that though, when you think about it, like, spending time with each other and creating relationships.
Does that phone got a silent button on it?
I'm putting it on right now.
Okay.
Sorry.
I think that creating the relationships is probably one of the biggest points of life.
Yes.
Here's the thing. This
you have
place
to
was
be-
not started when we were born. Any of us.
Fuck no,
okay?
it wasn't. It's been
And,
going on
and
forever.
it's not going to end when we die.
No, and that's
So
why we're here for this
So
time.
the purpose is not to do something. There isn't like some task or objective like we're in the military and we're going to accomplish this mission.
We're never going to accomplish anything.
It's this. I know deep down in every single human being, the way that they feel the most whole is when something that they have given from their heart is received and they feel it being received.
Yes. When you give somebody something and you know that it matters to them.
But that's what I mean. Like when you create those relationships.
Right. So that is pure love. Okay? Unconditional love. Meaning I did this out of the kindness of my heart. I didn't care if I was going to get something in return. But the energy exchange, I felt it, and that feels the best ever. That's why we have relationships. That's why we hang out with the children. That's why we do this, because we're doing an energy exchange with our heart of love and communication. The whole point of this is for us to really hone in on what that is, because when we don't have a physical body anymore, we're not going to have these emotions. One time in my Aya ceremony, she fucking stripped me of my emotions and would make me I would do things in a set of 3. Like, I would have to sit with this anxiety for like what felt like eternity, but who knows, maybe 30 seconds or a minute or something.
Yeah.
And then it would be like frustration. And then it would be joy. And I would be like, and then it would be something else, rage, itchiness, butterflies. And I would go through all these things. And I remember by the time I got done, I was like, this is what a human is. A human is the ability to take these energies and feel this is the only way that we can
Feel the emotions.
Yes, feel the emotions.
It's almost like emotions are another dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what you're coming to this realm for.
Yes. Yeah. And so then when we go into the rhythm of life and the circle of life, yes, there's going to be pains, but the thing is that if everyone understood that scarcity was not a real thing, it's an illusion, we wouldn't be living where there's all this pain. It would be pain at first because we would have to dismantle everyone's brains in fucking life. But ultimately, you would end up making an Atlantis, a Lemuria, a golden age again, where it's not communism where everyone's the same. You're going to have different races, different people, different fucking talks and everything.
It's people realizing it's bigger than peddly shit like that.
Yeah, it's that no matter where you go on planet Earth, I'm not talking about your presidents or your governments or 3-letter agencies.
Those are constructs too.
Yeah, but the people who live in any fucking country all want the same thing. They want to be left the fuck alone. They want to hang out with their children.
Love people.
Exactly. Barbecue, fucking live their life.
Dude, I had a confrontation with a Palestinian guy in Israeli West Bank in 2007, and just verbal, right? And so we were at a place there, and I'm talking to this young guy outside. I'm sitting outside by the car, and our interpreter's with us, and he's going off. He was kind of going off about like, why is America here? Why are they even involved in these affairs? And I was like, shit, I'm not gonna get into an argument here because we're surrounded. B, I don't actually have a good answer for this. And then C, I was like, he's the same age as I am. I bet that if we could like transport ourselves just somewhere out in the woods with a grill and a cooler full of beers, within 15 minutes we'd be homies, rather than standing here with assault rifles, fucking kind of eyeing each other down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, just like Jordan said, everybody wants exactly the same thing.
Yes, but we also do live in the 3D world of duality.
Yeah.
In the 5D world,
I will say that I do believe evil people exist.
that they do.
Yes, because otherwise we wouldn't recognize good. It
No.
can't good, right? It's
But
the
you-
contrast has to exist before it can be recognized and defined. Yeah.
But trying to kill them off is a complete waste of time. That's like trying to kill off all the leeches in the world.
I agree with that.
You have
Yes.
to just accept that you're going to coexist, and you defend.
Yes.
You defend.
At times go offensive, but you're right. In large scale, I think your best bet, and we're talking spiritual here, we're not talking fighting Al Qaeda, is remain positive. And at times you get drug, and like, dude, now that I know this, I'll get mad at myself, because there are certain people who can still they still got my number. You know what I mean? And I'm like, God damn it! I let them tap me out again.
Yep.
And so.
But that's what I mean when I say the micro and the macro. It's like, yeah, we all have our individual battles with certain people, but for a society, as a nation, as a culture, for like true enlightenment of like a society, a utopia, it's like, yes, you have to be positive. You have to go towards things that push vibrations, energy. I think communication is the biggest thing.
Well,
and
you
that's
have
what
to
all
earn enlightenment. See,
Yeah.
the thing is that if you don't earn enlightenment, then people won't know what to fucking do with it. Look at what people have been doing with just given enlightenment for the last 2,000 years.
Oh, you're right.
Nothing.
Holy shit, you're right.
But that's what I mean. We didn't earn it.
No, we did not earn it.
No one
We was
earned it.
given it.
That's an amazing way.
But
to
it's
say it.
we're not. We have a false.
That's a revelation, Tyler.
But no, we have a false sense of enlightenment. We have a false sense of enlightenment. True enlightenment means you really communicate with your neighbor. That's what an egalitarian, a great, honest society would do. We're in a position where we think we know what our neighbor thinks, and we're going to surmise answers from them.
Well, we don't have a warrior culture anymore. So now you have people who want to interfere with my ability to have full divinity within myself to search for my highest self-awareness. But people want to intrude on that, which to me is the biggest of insults.
But they don't even want to intrude. They don't want to even ask you the questions.
No,
I think you hit a good point earlier of communication, like emotions, understanding emotions. Like if that's what it's about, it's like, yes, communication, understanding who you are and who the person in front of you is. And I think that is the work.
It is the work, and they don't want to do that.
Yes.
Hang on. I just had a thought that's making my brain spin. Wait,
Take that hat off.
what if the black magic of the Catholic Church way back when was convincing people that they no longer had to earn their enlightenment, that this man named Jesus had died for them to be given to them, and as long as they worshipped at the church, they wouldn't have to earn their enlightenment. It would just be given.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the
look at
difference
what-
of Western
and look at what
and Eastern.
mankind has
But hang
done
on,
with that.
and that would be the 2,000 years.
There you go.
AD.
There you go. Because prior to that, you had a man named Odin who sacrificed himself to himself
Yes.
to prove
Yes.
that he would be able to gain wisdom and knowledge by doing so. Because when you earn your own enlightenment, no one can ever take it from you, ever.
Yeah.
And so people can do whatever they want, but I know through my own trials and tribulations that my enlightenment at whatever it is right now can never be stripped from me, and I know exactly what to do with it because I fucking earned every last bit of it.
It gives me goosebumps because that actually describes the last 2,000 years very well. That's how we fell out of that. We're on the path for World War III and destruction of humanity.
While people are still saying
the next cataclysm
that they're going to be saved.
Yeah, but no, these people believe that just by asking for forgiveness they'll get it. But I think you're right. I think you have to earn it. I think you have to earn your enlightenment. You have to go through the shit.
You're damn right.
You have to go into the darkness and get scared, and it's terrifying in there.
But that just goes back
When
to
you come out on the
self-awareness.
backside, it's like you have that yin yang. You have the appreciation for the contrast between the black and the white, and you recognize now you're back out in the light, and you are appreciative of it.
Yeah. It just goes back to awareness. And when people want to be so right about one thing or another, it's just like, dude, just who are you? What is awareness? Isn't the ultimate form just understanding who you are and what's going on around you? And when there's so much weird stuff happening around you, it's like, it seems like it's kind of made to clout almost maybe awareness in a way. Like, if I can fucking obstruct your normal thought process and just get you so hyper focused on one thing, it's not going to make you think, hey, I'm part of just this thing that's amazing. That I live in a place that has continents, that has oceans, it has whales, it has people that have done incredible things. It's like, no, that if what I want doesn't happen, and the other side's gonna fucking destroy me.
Yeah.
What does that do?
Duality.
That pulls your, like we're saying, the micro, the macro, that pulls your overall pool. And to use that as a nation, like, not trying to get conspiratorial here, but to use that to pull down the morale of a nation or to dumb a citizen, that's kind of a really smart tactical weapon that people don't really think about. It's like, got the psyche, got the spirit.
Mind control.
Yeah.
Mind warfare.
Spirit control is even more insidious because it's you're fucking with people's emotions.
Yes.
And they're unaware of it because they think it doesn't exist.
Did we just solve a new problem, or has this already been said?
I don't know. We're opening up a whole new can of worms.
See what happens when Tyler's here.
Right?
Hell yeah, dude. That's fun,
Wild
dude.
shit. Yeah, and I can attest to that because a year and a half, 2 years ago, I was an atheist. So now, like, having these concepts sort of like open up in front of me it's fucking wild.
Oh,
It's undeniable too. That once, I don't know how to describe the once you quote unquote see it, right? But once you start connecting the dots, there's no going back.
I can't help but feel like it's all just remembering how to be.
I think you're right. I think
Because
as
a kid, as a child, being born and like being young and like just everything was easy. Everything was easy and everything was right, and you just knew all you had to do was care about people. Yeah. And there was nothing
Give
more
your brother
than
a hug.
that.
Give your brother a hug, and
it was just easy.
but you also had no obligation as a kid.
Yeah, but what obligation do you have now?
Mortgages, work,
deadlines,
accountability.
That's something we created. So we were talking about this at work today.
Because I don't want to live in a box.
You look out the window and you see birds doing bird shit, right? And you see fish doing fish stuff, and coyotes are out being coyotes. How did humans get to sitting in traffic? Like, what if you could just go back
hot
to
chicks.
if you could go back to stripping.
Yeah, that's 100% it.
No,
ego, status, fucking
all
hot
these
chicks.
systems,
But that's
all
the
the
thing.
banking and all these social systems. If you could strip those all away, what would Mike Kozak? If Mike Kozak was naked in the fucking forest 10,000 years ago, what would Mike Kozak be doing? Would he be sitting under a tree looking at the sunshine? Would he masturbating furiously in the shadow?
6 days later, I finally got some berries. It was
6
a wild
o'clock shadow.
It was a wild week. Yeah.
The looking around, right? I'm looking at this lake, and then I'm looking at all the houses around it, and I realize that this is not something that anybody can just come up here and have. This is not reality for so many fucking people.
This was manifested, and I can.
No. I'm talking about just coming up to a place like this and being.
Yeah, I'm telling
Right.
you, I manifested this.
Oh,
and it started,
fucking-
I don't know, 2-3
Thanks.
years ago.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. No, I'm not joking. Like I just started, I had this vision of what I wanted life to be because I was living a life that wasn't my vision, right? I was supporting other people and it was fine, young kids and all that stuff. And I don't want to like sound like I'm complaining about it, but it wasn't me. It wasn't what I would want. And so I started just, I would almost like daydream sometimes. And I would have this idea of what would I be doing? Like what if it were just me, let's say I had never met a woman, never got married, what would I be doing for me? And I kind of had this idea in my head and I would just sort of lay in bed at night and kind of smile and be like, yeah, that would be cool, but nobody gets to do that. And bro, you're sitting in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But how did you manifest it different than other people? Everyone thinks if I won the lottery, this or that, but how many people win the lottery?
Stay tuned for our next podcast.
Winning the lottery.
Sorry, not nobody. Those people are given again. They're
dude.
given. It's a false version of being given enlightenment, and so they blow it. It's just like you have to go into.
But
hang on.
manifesting is want.
The way you have to go into, or the way you appreciate the light is by going into the dark, right? So you can't appreciate money and be responsible with it until you've been broke.
Yeah.
So that's why people who win the lottery always end up broke because they never learned how to manage money. You have to learn how to manage the darkness and the contrast with the light before you can appreciate the two.
Yeah, but people that win the lottery are already broke, and they can't manage money.
Well, a lot
You
of
want a
a lot
rich
of people
person
can't-
to win the lottery
They become
if you want
100
someone to be.
millionaires, and then they're broke
Yeah.
within like 7 years or something like that.
Yeah, but that's because they're already poor.
Yeah.
If they were a
What- I don't
billionaire
understand
and they
the
won
question,
the
I guess.
lottery,
Here's the thing: is that when you manifest something, you're not going to be taking this for granted because you have earned this. But most people don't know how to manifest anything because
I still had to go grind and work. And
yeah, but that's what I'm asking. What's the difference between like people always think and they want,
The
but
difference
like
is
some
that
people
in
work
in
and
a,
they
in
think
a
and
market
they
where
want.
there was no inventory in the housing market. There was one house that had been sitting on the market for 6 months, and we walked in and went, "Holy shit!" Put an offer in, and they accepted it within 2 hours, and then they even
Yeah, but are you
volunteer-
manifesting
like-
or are you being a hawk
No,
on
no.
real estate
No,
or
it's-
having
it's
good
just
agents?
it's both.
And there's
It's both.
good luck working. Yeah.
And part of
That's it,
manifesting
is like the
as you
universe
tell
is working
yourself, this
together.
is what I'm going to do, and you start having this idea of like, this is what I want. It's your effort exactly combined with the stream of consciousness or the universe, God, whatever you
Center
want to
of
call
the
it.
compass, I
Yeah,
like
the
to
two
say.
things start to resonate with each other. Everything goes back to frequency. So the frequency you are sending out begins to resonate
When
with you,
effort
and
meets
that
opportunity.
grows. When two frequencies start to resonate, then their strength grows exponentially.
See, but I feel like there's always constant opportunity out there. It just matters on the effort.
Yeah, that's called
It's not
manifesting.
manifesting, it's just
hang on,
doing
if you're
that.
laying in bed thinking about how you're going to expand MK Creations, you are in the process of manifesting. You have
Yeah,
to start somewhere.
I'm thinking.
But that's even what I've realized about
But that's
creating
a
value.
plan.
Just the whole notion of creating value from nothing, right? Where
manifesting is just a word.
Yeah.
We can just say
Yeah.
build.
I think it's
build or
just
create.
there's
Build,
constant
hang on,
high.
where no business existed before. You created MK Creations, and now you provide a service of value to people, and that wasn't there before. So you've created something of value, and it didn't start the moment you thought of it. It just existed. It started with you thinking, being like, you know what, I could probably just go into business for myself.
No,
doing
it
this.
started
And then
with you going, I need to get a job.
Yeah.
And then it started with you going, hey, there's this guy that's going to show me some shit, and I'm willing to listen. That's when it started. And then you fucking went through and you learned and you said, okay, I can
But
do this.
it's
And then
all
all of a
the
sudden
energy.
one day you
It's all
go,
the
I
energy
know what
you
I'm
put
doing.
into it. So you put a ton of energy into learning all these things, even if you didn't know you were going to start a business. Just like Training Northwest started with 10 years of me being in the Ranger Regiment and working for the CIA. It was all the pain, all the energy, all the tumultuous times, like all the shit I went through. That decade of war, that is energy I put into the system. And I finally figured out a way through Training Northwest to start tapping into that energy I put in. So really, before you can create something of value, you have to put a fuckload of energy into it before you have that sort of little, whatever you want, plasma ball, like, well, whatever, imaginary plasma ball that now you can share with other people. So now when other people come out to the range, what they're getting is they're getting me sharing all that energy I banked over all those years, learning all these things, having all these experiences, so that I can now take that, compress it, and share it with folks when they come out. And that's what the energy exchange of business is.
But it's just effort.
Yes.
Life is
and
just...
but that's also
energy
life
manifesting.
is
But
due.
effort
But
is energy.
that's the same as manifesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to start with an idea. You can't just walk out with a shovel and be like, do, right? Nothing will happen. You have to start with an idea and form it and refine it. And that's you putting life energy into it.
But that's just it. That's all it takes.
Well, it's this. You have three bodies. You have what I would say Odinvillian Vey, or your animal body, your energetic body, and then your soul body. Okay? And what he was saying is manifesting. There's three things that have to happen. Your soul is your architect, your engineer, your high mind, the one that can see like big picture. Your bones is your memory. It's the crystalline structure in you. It holds the memory of all things before you on your mom's side and your dad's side, just like a Honeycrisp apple seed.
Yeah.
Right? That's the memory that's inside there. In order to manifest, you have to have a thought, which is the architect or engineer. And then you have to go to the parts store, which is the memory. And then when you can bring the parts and the memory together, you will manifest it in this reality. Yeah. Until that happens.
The idea and the vision has to come first. So like, have you ever, like, I know you've piped out electrical rooms, and you have to sort of like, in your mind, you're like, okay, I'll sweep all these conduits at this elevation, come down 1 3/4 inch, sweep these ones through. And you have this sort of idea, and you can't, if you didn't have that pre-existing notion or
the memory,
doing it
before,
then you wouldn't be able to physically build it. You'd just be running one conduit at a time, and it would be all spider webbed.
And that's what some people unfortunately have.
Yeah, I get it.
And
but this is what manifesting it. But manifesting is just having the idea and the vision of it before you actually bring it to conception.
But that
doesn't mean it's magic. Like you may have to actually put your fucking hands on it and do it. It's not. We're not saying it just poof appears out.
And a lot of people won't manifest even if they do all of those things because in their unconscious realm, something has happened to them when they were a child that has inhibited their ability to believe that they are worthy enough of actually receiving it. So no matter what, they can go through all of the little steps and try and manifest till they're fucking blue in the face, and they will never be able to manifest because in their unconscious, there's something that happened.
Comparison.
That allows them or that inhibits their ability to actually believe they're capable of receiving it or doing it, that they're not worthy of it. And so therefore, even though consciously they want to manifest it, unconsciously it won't work.
Until they work on that part.
Right.
And that is worthy is one of the hard parts.
And,
right.
and
it's usually a multifaceted thing. It wasn't just one thing that happened. It was
a million things.
Yeah. So I'm not saying none of this is right. I just run into roadblocks all the time. And these are the roadblocks I think of. And I agree 100% what you're saying about if someone isn't in the right spirit, they're not going to manifest a life that they want. But then it makes me also think about God. And like, does God roll dice, or does God kind of have a predetermined plan? And that's where we go into Taoism and Taoism. And like that, there are a million paths through which you can pass this life through. It's not about the right, take left, right. It's about your path, figuring it out. And when you think about maybe God and like, if he has a construct, if this universe exists and there's a, like, do you have free will? Is there predetermined kind of outcomes? And it's like, so however hard I work, what if I am just picked to be the meth head living in the box, to be the fentanyl guy living off the block?
Then you get no free will.
Then you have
I was
no
just gonna
free
say,
will.
But you do have free will.
But what if it's an illusion? What if free will is an illusion?
I don't
You want to
believe it
work.
is.
What if you're programmed to work the hardest, but no matter what, you're still bound to fail?
Well, that's a program.
So then it makes me think about God, though. Does God? So there can't be a predetermined plan then.
That's not
if you have
reality.
the ability to rise.
You-
God
every-
doesn't have a linear plan. That means man is more impactful, or man collectively is God.
well, we're a
Does that make
fractal.
sense?
I believe that man collectively is God, and like Tyler just said, we're a fractal. So God created man in His image. He's just that's a very
Just-
good way
okay.
to describe a fractal.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
fractal
yeah.
universe.
Think of this. You look at the ocean as one body of water, but it's made up of individual
All the
raindrops,
Yeah.
right? And so it's like, well, is it a raindrop? No. It's a body of water. But each raindrop in that contains a piece of that ocean. It's a fractal of the whole. We have
It also every drop contains the information of the entire ocean.
right.
Yeah.
So therefore we can create within this realm, but we cannot create the realm.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So
So then, like, to go back to what we were saying earlier, like, does a rock have consciousness? Does this have consciousness? Then the spirit, where that takes over, is the delineating factor between matter. If matter has spirit and matter doesn't have spirit, a rock is matter, but there's no spirit. Whereas us, it seems like there's something bigger.
well,
Is spirit the thing that ties in?
Spirit is the feminine essence, and the salt is the memory. So if I take a plant, okay, let's take marijuana. Okay, guys, you ready for some fucking?
Fuck yeah.
Okay, we're gonna take some marijuana. We're gonna take a bud, and I'm gonna light it on fire. Okay.
Jordan's having a panic attack. Sorry, dude.
So I light it on fire and I burn up the whole thing. Now it's gone. The feminine, the spirit, the essence went up into the sky.
Yeah.
The masculine, the salt, the carbon is ash that went to the ground.
Down in the
It
earth.
separates. Okay? Now, all things are just like that. All things. Even a rock, if you get it hot enough, it'll just melt until whatever it is, and then go into the ground, and whatever the spirit of it goes up into the sky.
But that's like the consciousness. I get that things can have a consciousness that are matter, but like, what makes us unique, do you think?
The
Like,
fact that we have free will.
but what gives that to us then not to a rock? That we have thumbs, we can manipulate the environment around us,
Right.
and that helps provide,
is it
or is it our
consciousness?
No,
like our ability
we
to
get
think?
be the thing that God can be. God got to create this.
Yeah,
Okay, but we get to be able to harness what God can do in this realm.
yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you are.
So then, does we have naturally a higher consciousness than a slug
God
or a higher
created-
spirit?
God
Just
created-
because we're more in tune,
We're just
In
way
his
more
likeness.
advanced.
just
Yes.
more
Mike,
advanced.
God created man in His image. Right?
Now he didn't create slug in his image. He
Yeah.
created
Yeah,
man
that's
in
true.
his image.
That's true. That's true.
Because you're a computer. That's all you are.
Yeah.
You're the most
And
fucking
that's
highly
a-
advanced
AI,
computer.
AI and quantum computing will never match the human brain because it's not even a process. It's tapped into the divine matrix.
The divine matrix.
Well, that's why they have to have
Fuck,
But for real,
it's
it's you have the ability. You have the ability to tap into the Akashic record because
It's true.
in a fractal universe, in every atom is contained all information of the entire universe. And then you could zoom into that universe. You'd be back out in a giant universe, and you could say every atom in this universe contains all the information of the entire universe. So it's all there.
It's forever.
It's
That's
fractals.
why it's the
It's
original. See, if we can shed our armor, meaning all human beings right now that I know who isn't a fucking shaman has armor on their body because we don't know. But if you know like Qigong, if you know like acupuncture, like Taoist, that kind of stuff, they have books that show how energy works on a human body. When we release those, because they're just trauma wounds through energy, it came from
memories that are encoded into the...
Yep.
Yep.
And when we heal those, then we raise our vibration, and then we get cool-ass powers, like the ability to read each other's minds better, the ability to all of a sudden Kozak's like, I'm thinking about Tyler, and he grabs his phone, and Tyler's calling him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that kind of shit. That's not just a series of unfortunate events or fortunate events. It's not just random shit. I'm a pattern recognition person. So if I notice something once, it's like, oh, that's interesting. Twice, I'm like, 3 times, now there's a pattern. And if there's a pattern, then it's not a coincidence anymore. And I don't know how many coincidences there are at this point, because it seems like over time, it always turns into a fucking pattern in some way, shape, or form.
Everything in the universe is a pattern. That's that Fibonacci sequence, right?
A pine cone.
Yeah, literally everything.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's a good note to end it on right there.
Okay.
Well, hang on.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Listen. Talk about God. This is a great subject.
Talk about God.
This is a great subject.
I'm going pee. I'll be back.
Everyone should talk about it. Everyone should think about who they are, where they come from, why they are this way, what they can do to be better. This is something that is never enforced, I think, in anything. I mean, everyone says mental health. What the fuck does that mean? That means, dude,
Whatever
you
they
have
want
trauma
you to
of
have.
the past, but you also exist in this world. And being a human being means you have anxiety. It means you have strife. It means you have questions. The ability to focus inward and to put thought into this stuff, I find fascinating. And Tyler, for someone to dive so deep into this was a little, I had a cold. And you know what this guy was? He was a little Theraflu. I mixed him in a hot cup of water, and I just felt a little better. This is fun to talk about it.
Yeah. Tyler the Tussin.
Tyler Tussin.
My thing is I don't follow a religion.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I believe that there is a God? I believe that there's some type of creator that created all of this. There's got to be something.
Yeah.
Do I think it's a
How cool.
a dude who has a big white beard who sits up and judges me all day long and tells me if I'm good enough to fucking come see him when I die? I don't buy that.
Yeah.
Do I think that all of this is just literally for nothing and we all just rot in the ground and everything, all the trees, the way this whole place works is so that we can put pepperoni on after the cheese for 50 fucking years and then rot in the ground? No, I don't think that either.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, there's some type of divine creator.
But that's kind of the beauty of God, though, right?
Okay?
Yeah.
I think
Sexy.
it's energy. I don't think it's a human being. I don't think it's a being. People would say
Source
or fucking the universe or divine. Some people say, well, Tyler, you talk about Odin all the time. I do. He's the Allfather. But he did not create this place. He has parents too. He created humans.
Yeah.
And also, there's gods and goddess. There's not just one. There's a bunch of fucking gods. And they did not create this place. The way that I understand this place was created is Niflheim and Muspelheim. Niflheim is the land of ice and snow. Muspelheim is the land of fire. And one day the fire licked the ice and licked Ymir, the frost giant.
Oh, my.
And the frost giant was the first creature. And she had babies. And that's how this whole place got started on a world tree.
I believe it. I've always said it. These
Because
guys
in
don't
between
believe me.
in between that was what's called Gununga Gap. It's the Great Void. It's all that. It's just everything and nothing. There wasn't anything. And then the dwarves had to create the directions. That was the first creation, because without directions, there can't be.
Need that compass. Yeah,
Right?
buddy.
Yeah.
I think this has been a very spiritually awakening episode. Also, Tyler told us that rocks and fire have consciousness. So Divine Matrix can suck it. Closing words?
Fuck you.
Good night.